These are the funniest LEGO design fails in history, starting with the LEGO Fire Chief set from 1997. Sure, the vehicle's red and the minifig certainly resembles a firefighter, but that's about where the idea of a Fire Chief set ends. This red cart on 4 wheels looks nothing like a fire truck at all, and the hose is a sorry excuse for a pressure washer. The thing screams rush delivery. Our Star Wars fans out there are fully aware LEGO and Star Wars have had a partnership spanning decades, with new Star Wars sets released every single year without fail. But Set 8009, the R2-D2 set, is a set that every Star Wars fan could have gone the rest of their lives without. This emaciated R2 looks like it belongs in the scrapyard, not in your LEGO display case. You would think not too many sets could top the terrible design of a skinny R2, but Fabuland does just that with its absolutely lazy design. This entire set had less than 30 or 40 total pieces, and even that's a stretch because we simply can't find any information on the original box anymore. The set was so poorly received that LEGO absolutely buried the hatchet into any remaining models. It may be rare that LEGO ruins an entire line of LEGO products with horrible designs, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened, and the Galador line proves just that. Look at every single one of these models. There isn't a single thing in there that screams LEGO, worth the price, or even cool. And why is our jet-powered companion assuming that stance in the middle? Whose idea was this? If I had a nickel for every time LEGO shelved an entire line of toys due to major design fails, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's weird that it's happened twice. And what makes it even weirder is that these LEGO Mixels actually sold decently well, but LEGO still decided to pull them, stating that even they felt like the toys weren't very well suited for children with their horror-themed and downright nightmare-fueled designs. Now, every once in a while, design fails are really just a case of a logic mistake that wasn't caught before production. Let's see if you'd catch it. See this group of minifigs? Does anything stand out to you? Did you notice the baseball glove on our friend in the outfield out there? Yeah. Why exactly does the glove have fingers? LEGO minifigs have historically never had fingers, ever. And yet this Stackers player seems to be the only person in the LEGO multiverse to have opposable thumbs. In 2010, LEGO gave kids a wild gift for Christmas with the Naked Santa minifig. The birthday-suited Santa came fully equipped with a sleigh he clearly rode commando around the globe with 4 traumatized reindeer, all of which had to bear witness to Santa's true goodie bag. This fail definitely left a lot of kids laughing when they opened this setup. Next up is the LEGO Handheld Bomb, or Power Function IR Speed Remote Control. See, this was originally sold as a remote control add-on to an already existing LEGO train set, but upon release, thousands of the controllers had to be immediately recalled due to, you guessed it, explosive risk. Consumers were reporting that their controllers were mysteriously heating up after inserting the batteries, and thankfully LEGO caught on long before anybody could get hurt. It's hard enough passing through TSA. I can't imagine being tackled during boarding because I forgot LEGO pieces in my bag. When you imagine bunnies, what do you think of? Is it cute, fur-balled friends who'd love you forever if you gave them a carrot? Or is it this monstrosity? The 2003 LEGO Mr. Bunny set could not be further from what kids imagine when they asked for the talking anthropomorphic bunny set. I mean, I almost regret even looking at it. The image just imprints itself in your head. It's a horrible design fail that's almost so ridiculous it's funny. The Scala Summer Days set is a hilarious failure that was originally intended to be loved by kids. Everything about this set is wrong. The dog is absolutely massive, the baby is ugly and sinister looking, the umbrella is far too small, and the stroller is far too big. And the kid's name is Thomas. No offense to our Thomases out there, but that's just not a name for a baby. You wouldn't call your 2-year-old Reginald. It's too formal. This entire set is so bad it almost feels purposeful. But with how often these fails are happening at LEGO, that just might not be the case. Yet again, we've got LEGO absolutely butchering Christmas. You'd have thought after half a decade that they'd have gotten it down pat, but in 2017, LEGO sold the bag again with this iteration of Santa Claus. This thing's got a 1,000-yard stare like it just came back from a tour in a foreign country serving overseas. He's seen some things, lost people he's cared about, and is harboring horror stories. It's only a matter of time before this minifig is responsible for some poor kid's nightmares, if it hasn't been already. Alright, so we're back to just anthropomorphic animal garbage with the 2015 LEGO Kangaroo set. Look at him. No, really, take a look. He looks like he has a name and a mortgage. Would you believe me if I told you this was actually a limited edition model received from the monthly mini model build events that occurred at LEGO stores in 2015? That's right, one lucky winner would take home this little thing and get to call it theirs forever. It could be worse though. You could have purchased and brought home the Belleville Garden Fun set from 1996. Outside of the absolutely eyesore amount of pink being splashed around this set, we've got the bigger and more apparent problem of uncanny valley syndrome when looking at this thing. The baby girl thing looks unhappily familiar, and the cat blob entity on the bottom is just there. Nothing about this set makes sense, nor should it. It's just another funny design flaw from our favorite toy company. What's the worst thing you could imagine blowing $7,000 on? If you answered the LEGO Inside Tour 2005 edition H.C. Anderson Clumsy Hans set, you'd be right. It'd also be quite a mouthful. And speaking of mouthfuls, this set makes me want to absolutely barf. It's insanely bad and features 4 different versions of the insanely bad design. The legs are too long, the head and body make sense, the goat's not goating. Why are they the same height as the tree? There's just hundreds of unsolved questions revolving around my mind here. The LEGO Jet Car was made to just spit in the face of the common man and LEGO consumer. Not every enthusiast has $300 to spend on a set, and LEGO recognized that and decided to design this low-cost, low-piece count car set that actually just sucks to a laughable extent. This very barely resembles a car, and looks more like something a 4-year-old would draw. And ironically, the set still costs $15 to $20. From the same set line of Snap vehicles and figures, you'll find this canceled set, the 3533 Unknown. If we had to guess, it looks like LEGO attempted to make a duck and simply gave up. How we have footage of this in photos, I don't know. But what I do know is if this thing did come out, it'd somehow be $30. The Scala line that was originally canceled by LEGO in the late 70s and brought back in the late 90s was targeted towards girls. But for some reason, the sets barely had any reference or resemblance to LEGO at all. To make matters worse, the pieces that were LEGO related actually had flower-shaped connections rather than LEGO's standard square and circular brick layout, meaning they were entirely incompatible with other sets, making integration impossible. Incompatible bricks are not an uncommon occurrence at LEGO either, unfortunately, and the LEGO Primo set's design proves just that. These LEGOs were originally intended for babies and made to be easier to play with, impossible to swallow, and much bigger so they were harder to lose. But once your child aged out of Primo and was ready to move on to big boy LEGOs, they'd have to leave their old set behind, because that makes sense. A kid's toy designed to be incompatible with the next iteration of the same kid's toy. Most of the Time Cruises sets are just abominations of LEGO designs. Everything is poorly meshed together, parts of physics don't make sense, minifigs have horrific face designs. It's almost as if someone on the design team was heavily intoxicated while coming up with these absolute dumpster fires. But the worst offender of the bunch had to be the Hypno Cruiser from the set. This thing is just awful. There truly is no justification. It's so bad you can't help but laugh. Whose idea even was the hitchhiking monkey? But the worst design flaw of all time had to be the LEGO Super Truck Recall. If you played just a little too rough with these trucks and knocked off a wheel, a shark axe would come out of nowhere and hit you. Now, that might sound like a Family Guy bit, but it's nothing short of real and resulted in a mass recall of the entire set that shut the design down immediately. You're probably wondering why LEGO put an axe in these trucks to begin with, and we're honestly asking the same question. They probably were just in a silly, goofy mood.